So we are given the letter. The title is Ignorance. Ignorance is the greatest curse in life. Here the letter. My dear boys, ignorance is the greatest curse in life. Ignorance is the burden in life. Ignorance is the darkness in disgrace. Ignorance is the causes misery in life. My boys, this understanding is difficult. Misunderstanding is easy. Purity of body, thought, and action is above all ritual, ceremony, and other religious regimentation. God is infinite. He is with you, in you, around you. He is side. Points to consider. In what way does ignorance regarding our true self cause misery in our life? Question number 2. How do we overcome ignorance, which is the greatest curse and burden in life? Here's some good insight from the participants, which we have the open discussions. Everyone can share their insight. The first questions I posted is, what is ignorance? So from the participants, some said not knowing our true self is ignorance. Some saying not being truthful of life is ignorance. Some saying is Maya. Why is dilute us when we carry away and not understanding, or not understanding and understood our true self. So one brother gave us a story, and he said 10 people are crossing a river, and the current of the water is very fast. So everyone is wondering whether they can cross the river or not. Anyway, they managed to cross the river to the other side. The leader started having the head count. He count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9. Again and again and again. And he started to worry. Then a person saw his dilemma and offered himself to recount again. To his surprise, the leader actually forgotten to count himself. Sometimes this ignorance is a very natural taken place when you are in that positions and you in the dilemma, and you are then it caused you in the worry and you forgotten. So this part, the brother share us the story. It's very simple story, but you see how fast the ignorance coming, and it caused you the anxiety and the worry. Next, brother. Second questions. So what's come to your passing thoughts on this statement? The greatest curse. This is a very heavy word actually. What is greatest? Why is Swami have to use this word? Ignorance is the greatest curse in life. So one brother came out with a story, and he said, right, Kuberan. Kuberan sitting on the treasure chair, because he did not need to perform anything or any activity, Yet he still searched for happiness. Meaning, at time in our life, we are looking, we are looking on the treasure to in our life. Okay, we think to accumulate so much of toys. Worldly toys is very important, like cars, like bungalow, house, a big fat check in your bank. It is very important, But at time, you see, Guberan, he have everything in his life. Like Guberan, you're sitting there, you keep accumulating it. But when you turn back, you already spent 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You're over 50 plus or 60 already. Then only you realize, I'm still searching. I'm still not contented, because I'm still searching happiness. You don't having all these worry things, worry toys will give you happiness. But actually, you're still looking for the happiness. You just miss the boat. Yeah. So this is another, that is actually how we can, eventually, if you're not aware and alert, it can become a curse for your life, which you are the one, your ignorance is the one who bring in your life. So more on the worldly things, which is, one sister say, more on worldly things, which is not permanent, permanent. Everything is temporary. Whereas God is permanent. So God will not let us down. So hang on to God. That is the remedy. If not, you will always sit in this cycle of the curse, the created curse that you are creating it then. Next, Bill. So come to the third questions. What is mean by burden in life? One buddy came out and said, contentment is the greatest happiness. Take on unnecessary things. Pursuit in this world is a burden on us. This is a very, very profound statement. Yes, contentment is very important. Unless you knew it and you have put it in practice in actions, and you know how to pursue things in this world, you live in this world but not let the world inside you, then you will know what your seeking desire, it will not be a burden on you. So another sister said, attachment in the world will bring in different level of burden in life. We need to learn how to handle the situation. This is another keyword, attachment. Attachment in the world, in more practical way. Yeah, Sarah. So what is darkness in disgrace? The sharing from the participant said, hide yourself in ignorance, in the black shade, shield. Disgrace is cover up your own self. Okay, you sit inside your own comfort zone that you created it. So having acquiring spiritual knowledge and put into practice, this is your personal sadhana, which will remove our own darkness in life, and our own ignorance in life. So what caused, the next question is, what caused the misery in life? Or better say, the attachment, the desire, the bondage, the cause misery in life. Could you another example? One young adult said, is it okay for me to have a sport car, a BMW series car? I want to look young and I feel good, want to own it. The question is, if your income permit you, why not? And your example, if the installment is 2,005 and your monthly income is 30,000, it doesn't contribute more, even 10% of your commitment for the month, and you just want to become an experiencer to experience it, by all means then, because you have the same desire, you just want to experience it. But you want to own BMW, the installment is 2,005 and your income is 6,000-7,000. Then every month you are struggling to pay your installment. Then this is your desire. The desire you are chasing, you are earn the money to pay the bill. So the attachment and the desire and the potential and the bondage can really cause the misery in life. So question number 6. This understanding is difficult. Misunderstanding is easy. This is based on the statement given by the contents. So please share your processing thoughts. What is running behind your thoughts then? The knowledge of truth, the understanding of it is difficult because it's all bookish knowledge. So really understand the spiritual contents. Need continue having satsang, meditations with the Sai books, or your personal sadhana is important. It depends on your level of consciousness. When you first start look at it, you have different understanding. After 1 year, you look back, the same statement, it appear differently because our understanding, it go deeper and deeper inside our personal journey. So knowing or understand the true light, spiritual knowledge need personal exploring, and it's taken some time and efforts. So it is difficult. The truth knowledge is not quickly and immediately open up. It will take time, but we need to pursue it and continue pursuing and putting effort, and exploring it then. Sarah? Okay. here comes what Swami said. Swami have a Q&A actually for answer these questions. So the devotee asked, ignorance means what, Swami? Swami answered, the incapacity to understand the Supreme Being, the Brahman, even though you are fundamentally Brahman, that is ignorance, ajnana. So this is from the power of ignorance, wrote by Sandeha Nivarini, in the Sandeha Nivarini. So what Satya Sai Baba said about ignorance then? Ignorance is the cause of ego, which breed raga, the attachment, and by pronounced correctly, vesha, hatred. So Swami said,
yes.
sorry? Vesha. So the actually ignorance is caused, thank you brother. So ignorance actually is caused by our own ego, the big I, and the attachment, and the hatred, the feeling, and the six, the six, I remember the name. Yeah. So this is what Swami have said about it. Next, brother. Brother Billy, would you like to continue?
Sarah, okay. Just now, Sister Mei-Ling read through the letter. And Swami said that ignorance is the greatest curse of life. So the word curse is a very negative word. Okay, we always try, avoid the word curse, because it's something very bad. So as we're discussing this, okay, why did Swami use the word curse 4 times? And let's look back at the letter that Swami wrote to the students. Swami said, ignorance is the greatest curse in life. So why did Swami, say this? Okay. So I remember there's a poem, in the Buddhism. It says that the body is so difficult to get, yet you have got it. In Buddhism, they equate the body, how difficult is it to get the body? The body, to get the body is as difficult as a blind turtle. Imagine there's a blind turtle staying at the bottom of the ocean. Once in 100 years, this turtle will come out to the surface to breathe air. And on the surface of this ocean, there's a block of wood. And the block of wood in the middle, there's a hole. And so when this turtle come out once in 100 years to breathe air, his head, just as his head rise above the water, it just passed through the hole in the block of wood. So what is the chances of this happening is very, very rare. So for us to have this body is a blessing, it's a great blessing. So the Buddha has said, okay, to have this body is so difficult to get, and yet you have got this body. To be able to listen, to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha is also so difficult. So now you have got these 2 blessings. You have got this body, you have heard the truth of the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha. What are you going to do in this life? If you don't practice sadhana, to realize the truth, when, in which life are you going to do it? And are you sure that you will get back this life, okay? The human body, the life of human body. So this is where curse means you have everything in life, but yet because you are ignorant of something, you're just throwing away what the happiness that you have in life, And ignorance is the burden in life. You don't do it, you don't understand the truth, you're going to suffer. It's going to be a burden on you. Okay. And ignorance causes a lot of misery. So we look at the world today, life is full of suffering. In fact, in Buddhism, we say that ignorance is the failure to understand the noble truth, that life itself is suffering, and how to overcome this suffering. So now let's go back. So our organization is actually an organization to help us to get rid of ignorance, okay? Now, in the constitution and rules of the Satyasai International Organization of Malaysia, this is the fundamental objective of this organization is to awaken in man the divinity inherent in him. So the purpose of life is to realize this, the divinity inherent in us, okay, through the practice of the basic principle of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa, okay, as envisioned by Bhagavan Sri Satyasai Baba. And this is what Swami has said about the purpose of the organization. Swami said, the main objective of the Satyasai organization is to help you recognize the divinity inherent in you. So your duty is to emphasize the one. So let me go back. The divinity inherent in you. So not knowing this is ignorance. Not realizing this is ignorance. And not realizing this is the greatest curse in life. So this is where the avatars are so fortunate to be part of the organization. And Swami said that the main objective of the Satyasai organization is to help you recognize the divinity inherent in you. So how are we going to recognize, this divinity inherent in us? We are going to look at it afterwards. So your duty is to emphasize the one and to experience the one in all you do, else speak. Your duty is to emphasize the one. What is the one? One means God, to experience God in all you do and speak. Do not give importance to differences of religion, sex, status, or color. Have the feeling of oneness permeate all your acts. Only those who do so have a place in this organization. So this particular statement by Swami is very, very profound, and we must really try to understand what he meant by this. So let's try to explore this now, because I think this is the crux of getting rid of ignorance. Okay, so this is where, to help us to awaken the inherent divinity in us, Swami has what they call prescribed the 9-point code of conduct for all members of the organization. And this is something that all of us know, okay? The first code on the left-hand side is daily meditation and prayer. Second is regular study of Sai literature. Third is speak softly and lovingly. The fourth is not talking ill of others. Number 5 is sealing on desires. Number 6 is family prayers and bhajans once a week. Number 7 is participate in Bhavikas program. Number 9 is attend bhajan and Naga Sankirtan at least once a month. Number 9 is community service. So this 9-point code of conduct is actually an integral yoga, Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, and Bhakti yoga coming together. So this is where daily meditation and prayers is Bhakti yoga. Regular study of Sai literature is Jnana yoga. Speak softly and lovingly is Karma yoga. Not talking ill of others is also Karma yoga. Sealing on desires, I think, is Jnana yoga. Family prayers, Bhakti yoga. Participate in Bhavikas program, okay, is Jnana yoga. Attending bhajan and Naga Sankirtan once a month is Bhakti yoga. and community service is karma yoga. And not only that, this 9-point code of conduct is also a 9 sadhana, which we can divide into 3. Okay, personal sadhana, family sadhana, and community sadhana. Okay, so you look through this 9-point code of conduct. Some are personal, for example, prayer and meditation. It's personal. You have to do it yourself. Okay, speak softly and lovingly. You have to do it yourself. It's a personal sadhana. Not talking ill of others is personal sadhana. And then family prayers is family sadhana. Service, community service is the community sadhana. So let's take a look at some insights into daily meditation and prayers. Okay, in order to get rid of what they call ignorance, we need to still the mind. This is where the importance of meditation comes in. Okay, as we still our mind, then we enter into silence, and it's only in silence that we can hear the voice of God. And then we have our daily prayers. So prayers is to make that connection with the divine. So each of us may have different ways of doing prayers. Okay, for me, my daily prayer is every morning I wake up, I will do 21 ohms. Okay, and then I will do the Gayatri. And then there is one particular prayer which I will not miss. Okay, and this prayer is this morning prayer which I used to emphasize on. Okay. Now, if you look at this, the statement given by Swami say, okay, the main objective of the Satyasai organization is to help you recognize the divinity inherent in you. So your duty is to emphasize the one and experience the one in all you do or speak. So what does Swami mean by this? Okay, now we look at this morning prayer. Oh Lord, I'm born now from the womb of sleep. I'm determined to carry out all tasks this day as offerings to thee, to you, my Lord, with thee ever presence before my mind's eye. With my thoughts, words, and deeds sacred and pure, let me not inflict pain on anyone. Let no one inflict pain on me. Direct me, guide me this day. So I feel that this prayer is actually to help us to emphasize on the one, emphasize on God. Okay, whatever I do, I am doing these as offerings to you. Okay, and hopefully one day I will experience, realize the experience of you in whatever I do and speak. And so this prayer was given by Swami in one of his discourse many years ago. And Swami said, do this prayer daily. Okay, and in time to come, you will realize the divinity inside you. And then let's look back at this is a morning prayer. Swami has given a night prayer, an evening prayer. So this is where it reads as follows. Oh Lord, the task of this day, whose burden I place on you. Which means whatever we do, we should think of God, okay? So the burden whose burden I place on you this morning are over. It is you who make me walk and talk and think and act. So we must always remember, okay, whatever we do, we are nothing. Without God, we cannot walk, we cannot talk, we cannot think, we cannot act. So therefore, we must be very careful of doership. It is sometimes when we forget that actually is God inside us doing the thing, we think that we are the one doing it. And because of that, because of this ignorance, we suffer. And therefore, I place at thy feet all my thoughts, words, and deeds. My task is done. Receive me. I'm coming back to you. Which means this body is an instrument, okay, for God. So, selling on desires. Okay, selling on desires. Okay, so if we want to get rid of ignorance, okay, we got to slowly reduce the desires that we have. All right. So, how do we reduce our desires now? So, there's one particular video which we make during Chinese New Year. Some time back, I'd just like to share with you, okay? And there are some very poignant teachings of Swami on selling of desires.
Credit cards are so convenient. You go to the store, you choose what you want, you swipe the card at the card machine, and that's it. With credit cards, you can buy all the stuff that you want. But at the end of the month, when you check the credit card statement, you realize that you have spent very much beyond your means. So, to prevent this from happening, we should always ask 3 questions. Question number 1, do I need it or do I want it? Only buy when we need it. Now, let's say you need it. Then you need to ask the second question. Can I afford to buy it? If the answer is no, don't buy. But even if you can afford to buy it, you need to ask the third and final question. Can I live without it? If the answer is yes, then don't buy. This is how we can practice on sealing on desires and lead a peaceful life. I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a very happy New Year. 新年快乐，万事如意，心想事成。
All right. So these the 3 questions, in this video is very, very insightful. Okay. First of all, when you want to buy something, do I want it or do I need it? Okay, I need it. Can I afford to buy it? Yes, I can afford. Okay. Can you live without buying it? If you can live without buying it, don't buy. So this is where Swami really wants us to, really think deeply about this. Because you look at the world there's so much of pollution in the world. And the world today is in almost total chaos. It's because unlimited desires. So the only thing that can save the world is selling on desires, because companies manufacture, in anticipation of demands, okay? They don't manufacture according to needs, but according to wants. Okay. So let me move on to the next one. So somebody say attend bhajan at least once a month. Okay. So after the pandemic, slowly, people are coming back for bhajans. So with that, I'd like to, let me see. Okay, coming back to mailing. Okay, mailing. Okay, how can the chanting of the name of God really cleanse the mind? Okay.
Okay, how can chanting the name of God really cleanse the mind? Bhagavan beautifully explained this with a few memorable examples. Cast away ignorance, then you are free, liberated from all bonds at that every moment. All the spiritual disciplines have these liberations as their goal. Nama Sankirtan, the heartfelt singing of divine names, to help you to get rid of this basic ignorance. So, singing bhajans, okay, right. Continued. How can chanting the name of God really cleanse the mind then? Those who rely on reason alone or on the limited laws of science argue that the repetitions of the name, which is, after all, sound, cannot cleanse or correct the mind of man. But the name is not just sound. You are sitting quietly there, listening, but if someone merry says scorpion, you get frightened. Or when someone say the juice of a lemon, your mouth start watering. Okay, so you may be sitting before a plate full of delicious, but if someone speak of something dirty or disgusting, you refuse the food. When words referring to worldly situations have such a transforming effect on the mind of man, the words conveying spiritual and elevating meaning will certainly help in cleansing and correcting the mind of man. So this is how Swami put into us. The sound is not when you chant the Namasmarana or you chant the Sai Padame. It's not just sound. It's automatic having some chemical inside you. It's doing some cleansing inside you. I remember long time ago, a sister went for bhajan sessions in Bangsa Center. That is her first time walking to the center. But she has some issue on medical issue. Her body is so much of bulky and watery. The first time when she sit in the full sessions of the bhajans, before the end of 1 hour, she will walk in and walk out, to the washroom. Why? Because so much water is coming out from the body, and she do not know what actually is going on. Actually, this is Swami is doing some cleansing for her. So that is the first attempt when she walked into Bangsa Center for the bhajans. So that experience sharing, showing us it is some cleansing, something is happening inside you, whether you know about it or you do not know about it, or you ignore it, you have the ignorance about it, or you have the awakened, the knowledge about it. Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Okay, thank you, Sister Helen. Those of us who have read the book by Masaru Emoto, he's a Japanese scientist. He wrote the book called The Secret of Water. And what happened is that he put water into some kind of, the plastic dish, and then he put in a refrigerator to freeze it, and then he took it out, and then look under microscope, and then you can see, water forming crystals. And then he discovered that when you do this experiment, when you say good words, the crystal will be beautiful. And when you say bad words, the crystal structure is very ugly. And this is where, Swami is always remind us, to talk less, because when we talk a lot, we tend to what they call lost control of what we want to speak. And Swami had always, there's a story, where Swami, there's a person who's suffering from some illness, and he will always carry a bottle of water with vibhuti there with him, Then Swami said, that's not the way you, what they call, make use of vibhuti. First of all, if you want to heal yourself with vibhuti, first of all, you get a cup of water or container of water. Then you pray to God, God, I'm not feeling well. Please help me. Please grant me health, strength, energy, and vitality. So this is chanting, what they call asking God for help. Then what happens is that only then you put vibhuti. And then you drink the water will heal you, okay? And even if you don't have any illness, it's good that before you drink water, chant God's name. Because God's name is very, really right. Okay, so let's just listen to this. Swami always like to sing this song. Okay, let's listen to this song. In fact, Dr. Suresh has written a book about this particular song. Swami said that this song covers all that he wants to tell us. Hari bhajan bina
शांति नहीं। जप ध्यान बिना योग नहीं। जप प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं। दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं। भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं। हरि नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं। हरि नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं। हरि भजन
हरि भजन बिना शांति नहीं।
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 हरि भजन बिना
शांति नहीं। हरि भजन बिना शांति नहीं। हरि भजन बिना शांति नहीं। हरि भजन बिना शांति नहीं। हरि भजन बिना शांति नहीं। हरि भजन बिना
हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं। हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। सुख शांति नहीं। सुख शांति नहीं। हरि भजन।
Okay. So with that, I have completed my part on the 9.0 Code of Conduct. I won't go through the others because of time constraint. So next come to Brother Uday Kumar, okay, who will share his thought on this particular article. So Brother Uday Kumar.
Asairam, this is regarding the purity of body and how to achieve it. So we were discussing on that. So body is mandir, temple or shrine. It is described as temple enshrining the internal divine Atma, individual soul, viewed as a temple. It has to be regarded as the sacred and pure abode of the divine. As such, it should not be misused. This implies that the body is intended to be used for having good thoughts and good deeds. Because the body is given for performing the right action, it has to be maintained in a fit condition. It is the instrument for all activity and therefore should be maintained well. Every time before you do anything, you have to put yourself this question: I am the indwelling divine Atma in the body. As such, it is proper for me to do this action or not. You have also to determine whether the particular action is proper or improper. Only then you will be using the body in the right way. You are not use the body according to your whims and just because you have got it. Iron.
Okay, before I move on to the next page, okay, this is where in our forthcoming international conference in Sri Lanka, there's a program called EASE, EASE. So, Brother Uday Kumar, this particular article is from Swami. What is the source of this particular article?
Yeah, discourse date 20th May 1990, summer course.
Okay, so this way, okay, thank you, brother. So because the body is given for performing right action, it has to be maintained in a fit condition. So how do we keep our body fit? So this is where I know Dr. Suresh came up with an acronym called EASE. So in order to keep our body fit, E stands for exercise regularly. So I wonder how many of us here exercise, regularly. If you exercise regularly, can you please put in the chat box? Yes, I exercise regularly, at least, 3 times a week, something like that. And then A is attitude positively. We must always be happy. Do we always worry, So whatever the circumstances in life, we must always be positive. And then S stands for sleep deeply. So how do we sleep deeply? How do we have deep sleep? So this is something we will talk about Sri Lanka, okay? So still 1 week. So in case you all are so keen, you all can take still not too late to sign up for the event, okay? In fact, we have got 1,000 participants, okay? And then the last E is eat responsibly. Eat responsibly. So are you eating the right food? Okay, are you overeating, So this is about this particular article here, okay? And then Brother Udaya Kumar, okay, you like to carry on this?
Or maybe you can read.
Okay, all right. So as a continuation of this article, Swami said, okay, when you get rid of the evils associated with pollution of speech, hearing, sight, thought, and action rising from the misuse of the 5 senses, you will be able to become the Paramatma. Divinize yourself. If the senses are fed with polluted stuff, you
You
cannot.
seem to be fading in and out now.
Okay. All right. You cannot become pure merely by taking milk and fruit. You must take in pure solid food through all the 5 senses. Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Then Swami said, there are many doors to a temple. They are intended to let in devotees who seek to worship God. Gateways in temples are intended only for devotees to enter. Similarly, there are in this temple of the body 5 gates. What is the purpose of these doorways? If we build a house and erect doors in it, they are for the use of our kith and kin, and not for all stray animals to worship. If such animals enter, the doors are shut against them. Likewise, the doors in this sacred body should be kept open only for sacred and divine entrance. Only then it deserves the name Kshetra or shrine. It ceases to be a body if unholy objects are allowed to enter it. Okay, so this is where Swami has enlightened us that our body is so precious, we must take good care of it. And we must be very careful with what comes into our 5 senses, okay? We should not simply listen to gossip, watch, okay, polluted items.
Can't hear you.
Okay. All right. Next, Udaya Kumar, okay, you have shared this article. Can you read this, Udaya Kumar?
Yes, Sai Ram. Ignorance is the cause of all sorrow. Baba. What is the meaning of Arjuna? It means sacredness and purity. For such a noble person as Arjuna to lay down his arms and resolve not to fight a battle in which righteousness was at stake could only be due to ignorance. The Lord, being fully aware of the nature of this disease, resolved to eradicate it. At the very beginning of the Gita, Krishna could have taught the principle of devotion and commitment to duty and selfless action, but Krishna chose not to do so. In fact, he started speaking only after listening for a long time to Arjuna's weeping and lamentations. While Arjuna was carrying on, Krishna did not interfere at all. He patiently waited while Arjuna verbalized his confused state. Finally, Krishna asked, Arjuna, are you done? Have you vented all your feeling? It was only at this point that Krishna started teaching. Sairam.
Okay, there's some more. Okay, I think I have two more pages. Yeah, Brother Uday Kumar.
Krishna therefore gave Arjuna a strong injection of courage to save him from drowning in sorrow and dejection. His immediate first aid treatment was to teach Arjuna how to discriminate between the true self and the personal self. He said, Arjuna, as long as you are overcome with fear and anxiety, you will not be able to accomplish anything. Be courageous, know that you are the Atma, not this body. Then you will be fearless. I can help you to achieve great things, but only if you base your action on true knowledge and remain fearless. At this point, Krishna was smiling, but Arjuna was weeping. Sairam.
There's some more. Okay.
The one who is always smiling is the Lord. The one who is weeping is man. Krishna is the true self. Arjuna is the false self. One is the embodiment of wisdom and the other is filled with ignorance. Krishna said, I would like to explain something to you, which are very important. Right now, we are behaving in a different ways. I am smiling while you are crying. But we could both be alike. Either I could become like you or you could become like me. If I should become like you, then I would become weak-minded. But that is impossible. Weakness can never enter into me. On the other hand, if you were to become like me, then you would have to follow me and do as I say. At this, Arjuna replied, Swami, I will do exactly as you say. I will follow all your commands implicitly. Having given Arjuna sufficient encouragement and strength of purpose, Krishna enabled Arjuna to recover his strong resolve. From that point on, Arjuna undertook to fight, following the direction given by the Lord.
I think there's the last page.
Krishna started his wisdom teaching with some important truth relating to the body and mind. He said, Arjuna, you think that these people are your relatives and friends, but that is meant by a relative. But what is meant by relative or friend? Does it refer to the body or does it refer to the indweller? Bodies are just water bubble. They come and go. These relatives and friends which you are so attached to now have all existed before in many number of births. But were they your relatives and friends then? No. You too have existed countless times before, and I as well. The body, the mind, and the intellect are all just so much apparel. They are like the clothes you wear. You change them now and again. They are mere instruments. Why develop a close relationship with these things, getting infatuated with them and then giving to suffer so much sorrow and grief? Do your duty. All the honor that is due to you as a prince will bestowed on you. But on the battlefield, there cannot be room for any feeling of weak-mindedness and feeble-heartedness. Fighting boldly to preserve righteousness and shrinking in the weakness are completely incompatible with each other. To have this timidity on the battlefield is not becoming of a great hero. Your cause is just for you have come to fight. Therefore fight. With words such as these, Krishna cured Arjuna of this despondency and helped him to find his strength and courage. When Krishna finished his teaching on the battlefield, Arjuna regained his noble ideas and faced the upcoming fight with renewed valor. Saira.
Okay, so the story of the battle of the Mahabharata is a story of ignorance and how to overcome ignorance. Okay, so with that, over to you, Dr. Suresh.
Yes, Sairam, wow, this is a very deep, a very big, very long subject. a lot of thoughts to think about, because there's so many dimensions that we have through. And I think each one has got its own depth. Let's take the first one, Billy. I think the one that you spoke about in terms of the oneness. Let's take that. Okay. No, not this one.
Let me just.
Because coincidentally, just 2-3 days ago, I was watching, suddenly switched on video of Swami, and Baba mentioned those, in English he mentioned, he giving a discourse, halfway he spoke in English, a little one line he spoke in English, and he said that if you're experiencing duality, you're half blind. If you are experiencing duality, you are half blind. Baba said that in English. And the whole idea here is that the whole objective of the organization is to emphasize the one, experience the one. I think this is a very, very, as you said rightly so, is a very important point to move away from the what do you mean? What do you mean when you help you register for discovery? What do you mean by it? So your duty is to experience the one. To experience the one is all that. Do not give him appearance to differences. How do we do this? Because ignorance is duality. So anytime you say you and I means we are already ignorant. So to see the oneness in everything, that is the reality. So we may be trapped in our own duality. So how do we come out of it? How do we firstly experience this? Mission of Sathya organization help us get rid of this ignorance? Anybody?
Yeah, Sairam, it's a very good question, nicely put forward. Because see, we are in the world and we are everything perceiving through our mind. And we have been conditioned that this is my family, my mother, my father, my brother, my friends, my house, and everything. And suddenly, born out of that, and then we hear Swami's word that we all are one. It's really shock, and that is what initially a lot of people will think that what is this teaching? It's not correct, because we are so immersed in our ignorant feeling and thoughts, belief system, that we feel that there is something impractical which Swami is teaching. But as we live through our life and finally find that all these differences, all this separateness is causing a lot of misery in us, because some we are getting attached and some we are having hatred and these bad feelings. So, but and Swami says you have to be an Ananda all the time. So this feeling of separateness is the calling, that this is what we are feeling it in the world, that we are different. And the whole purpose of this organization is to realize that we are one. So this feeling of one, it takes a gradual toll on our mental thinking. And the best way is, it is the mind which creates the problem, because it attaches to something very important, because soothing, it's loving, and it goes away and tries to hate something, tries to distance away. But the moment with this mind is trained to make it feel and realize, and mind will only realize when it experiences that this, because like Sriti Baba used to say, is my blood and your blood different? Is my I can see the eye, you can see the eye, but thing is that difference is because the mind is causing the problem. And once this mind remains in equanimity, then what happens is all the good qualities of love and humanness arise in us. So this is the the whole journey is, and that is what the ignorance is Swami is trying to talk about, and that is the main purpose of the organization, to get rid of the ignorance, because it's very few who are born with previous karma and previous life that from the childhood they can understand that we all are one. Like Buddha and other people, they started research from a very small age, and some people like Prahlad and all, they got this feeling that there's nothing different and everything is God creation. But in Kali Yuga, people like us, it will take time. And of course, we are so happy and lucky to be in this organization that we are learning, even at this stage also, and trying to ponder upon these sort of topics. And we are excited to know about it. So knowing is one thing and experiencing is another thing, because once we experience, the knowing, fruition of the knowing is experience. And once we experience the thing, no matter whatever somebody says, we will be sticking to that because we know the truth. Just for example, if a person is very slim and very trim, and somebody comes and tells that you're a fat man, you're a lazy man, and everything. So even 10 or 100 people say you're fat, you're ugly, you are this. But if I believe that I'm slim, if I believe that I'm the most handsome or beautiful person, I will just laugh at them, isn't it? Nothing can remove me. So this is what the experience is, that when we experience the thing, our faith becomes strong. And this is the purpose of this organization, that we have to generate that experience. And Swami has, as Brother Billy just rightly talked about the 9 code of conduct, the way we gradually from personal to family to the outer world, we expand our horizon. We find that we are moving towards that. Like you might have seen that in the childhood, maybe when we are fighting with the brothers, sisters, we used to fight and get the things up for ourselves. But as we now, and in this age, if you say, we try to give it to everybody, not even friends, not even the family, but all the people whom we meet. So this is the gradual change which we are going through. And this is how we are trying to gain our, come over our ignorance, that when everything is one, because what happens that we feel that it is mind because we think that it is permanent, and we try to overcome and keep it with us. But then we realize that we ourselves are not permanent. Then how does our belongings will be our permanent things? And this is how our experience in the spirituality grows. And this is how we come to know the truth, that if that person is different, it is not because it is not because it's different in looks or not, but actually if you go from within, if it's the spiritual path, the spirit is same, the blood is same, the breath is same, the food digestion is same. So there's no difference between us. It is only the outer vesture, outer cloth, which is making us different. And slowly, when that experience dawns in us, we try to lose our ignorance and try to grow in the spiritual path. And that is the main purpose of our organization. Saira.
Sairam, can I just share something from Buddhism on ignorance?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. According to Buddhism, ignorance is a primordial force that afflicts us all. And the Buddha gave us the 4 noble truths, which explains why ignorance, And the 4 noble truths are suffering, the cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, and the way to the end of suffering. And this last one is actually the Noble Eightfold Path that the Buddha taught. And the Noble Eightfold Path consists of right understanding, right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And just now, Brother Billy spoke about the 9-point code of conduct. And I always thought that Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path corresponds very closely to Swami's 9-point code of conduct. Yeah. All the right action, right effort, right concentration, and all that. They're all in the Noble Eightfold and in the 9-point code of conduct also. Yeah, Sairam.
Sairam, thank you, Sister Boo. Yes, Brother Rama.
Sairam, brother. Can you hear me?
Sure, yes.
Yeah. This is a very, very important subject, brother. Very, very important subject about invoking the inherent divinity. That is the basis of life. That is the core value of Swami. And that has got to be ingrained in all of us. It must be floating in us. It must be around us. And the awareness must be consciously, we got to move with it, because we are facing all kinds of odds in the course of life unexpectedly. So how do you go through this passage? So the strength comes in how much you have arrived from this spiritual strength in order to pursue the course of life that will ultimately lead you to Swami. So that means to say the divinity within has been consciously moving upwards and not down. But the truth is, due to ignorance, you may say, or due to exposure, wrong kind of exposure, which comes to ignorance again, it moves like a barometer. It moves like a barometer. It moves. Sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's very down, like that. But but we are conscious of this inherent strength of the divinity within us. So what I'm saying is that must be our mantra. What mantra? That powerful words, the 5 values which are inherent in us, has got to be lifted every now and then. So in all experiences, daily experiences, that must become the litmus test. It must become a litmus test by bringing it as our second nature, so that in every in every situation, you're able to focus on the right path or right direction. Like what Sister just now talked about, the 4 noble truths, the Eightfold Path. We will be able to get into the direction if the awareness is alive and not dead. So the awareness is the light. The awareness comes from discipline. The awareness comes from love. The awareness will grow with knowledge. So the awareness must be within us all the time, leading us from darkness to light. And that is the process from year 1 until we complete our duties in life. The challenge is facing other people who don't have the exposure are meeting the challenge in a different route from what you are doing, and therefore that comes reasons for conflict. But Swami says, with the inherent strength within you, the inherent divinity within you, that should not be a problem at all in facing situations like that, because the love will take over and will suppress any kind of prejudice within you. So you will be able to float with such knowledge within you to progress further and get into higher levels. So this is my feeling and my deep appreciation of Swami's teaching long time ago, when I first got attracted to these 5 values, which I constantly use in daily conversations with my friends and others. in order to highlight on this situation and how we could break through barriers by becoming conscious of that, these 5 values. So I'm saying these 5 values can be achieved over a period of time, not necessarily years or one full lifelong time. It can be achieved in accordance to how much of devotion, discipline, love, trust, and a friendship we have with Swami to daily correct us and let us move along the path so that we become an attraction. We become Swami's message. That way, our divinity is getting higher and higher and higher. And the basis is the awareness created on the inherent strength, the inherent divinity. Nobody told me about the inherent divinity before 1979. 1979 onwards, we began to read on Swami. We began to read his books. We began to read Sanatana Sarati. And then we began to get more and more knowledge on the power of these values, which Swami says belongs to us. Swami says it's yours, your treasure. Swami says it's hidden in you. Swami says you got to work on it to bring it out. And he cannot polish it for you. You got to polish it yourself. And how do you do that? With good friends, the Sai friends we have, the Sai Fellowship, and many other groups as well outside the Sai Fellowship. We have this body of people who can help with good association to keep polishing these 5 values for us to serve to life and reach this level of self-realization. Saram, brother.
Thank you, Brother Rama. Anyone else? And I think if you are really serious on the path to realize the inherent divinity in us, diet is something that we must really be serious about. That is, we must be vegetarian. Because Swami said that if you what they call eat meat, you acquire animalistic qualities. And also be careful in eating out. Because when you eat out, the food is cooked by people, okay, outside people. You do not know their mood, you do not know their emotion at the time where they're cooking. And whatever their emotion is, the vibrations they have will be passed on to us through food. So we got to be very, very serious, because why? Our purpose in life is to recognize the divinity inherent in us, okay? So we should always try to remind ourselves of this, okay?
Sairam, it is also in one of Swami's 5 pillars, Ahimsa, because Ahimsa means non-violence, and if we take animal life, that is violence. So I think that's why Swami also teaches us Ahimsa. Yeah, Sairam.
Thank you, Sister Boo.
One more point I think we must mention is we must see whether we should ask ourselves this question. Whatever knowledge I'm gaining, improving my ignorance. So that means whatever information I'm gathering, whatever data I'm collecting, is this enhancing my ignorance? Is it putting me more into ignorance? I think this is a very valid spiritual question, because there's a lot of things in this world that sometimes it is necessary. We need the wisdom to know it's only necessary to live in a license to live in the illusory world, but not necessary for the rest of it, the rest of our journey. So sometimes when we accumulate so much and so much and so much, it looks like we are getting dragged into the forest, into the thicker and thicker forest. And finally, we get lost inside that forest, looking for peace, looking for happiness, and looking for joy. So it is important for us to, when we read this, this today's session especially, it's called ignorance. It means anatomy of ignorance. We need to understand how ignorance is being born in ourselves, what is the cause of ignorance, and how will ignorance keep us confined and keep us in this self-identity cocoon kind of a thing. We have to think about this because we can only come out of it if we start contemplating upon it. And this is that's why Swami straight away said 2 things to remember: death and God. God is knowledge, God is wisdom, death is ignorance. The point of the story is that this is finite, that is infinite. So 2 things we must keep in our mind. Otherwise, we'll get lost in this world. We'll get lost so easily. We can get lost in the finite and very difficult to come out of it. And even if you try to come out of it, there's so many people suffering from it. So especially like the formula was given: bondage, attachment. These are all words, but we need to seriously look at the words. Which is bondage? Which is attachment? What is it? Because even the greatest sages could not escape from the clutches of this ignorance. It can come to us at any one point of time. The most important thing to remember is, if you look at Lord Shiva's form, the snake is wrapped up around his neck to indicate to man, hey, you're coming towards me, you are going to reach me, but please remember, ignorance of ego is always wrapped around you. It will follow you like a shadow. So the key thing is to be vigilant. And it is very important that we are studying this subject today on Ganesh Chaturthi day, because that is the Ganesh Chaturthi. Ganesha is the bestower of knowledge and wisdom. He's the only one who can bestow us the discrimination to make the difference between Maya and reality. Only one, only that discriminative power that distinguishes. If not, we'll slip and fall easily. So this is not a subject that can easily be read and said, okay, I understood. It's not. You've got to seriously look at it line by line, and contemplate on this. Each one must be contemplated very deeply. The more and more we contemplate on this darkness, which takes us into the darkness, you'll find that suddenly there's no necessity for us to go this area, this part. And what Swami said was only one matchstick is necessary to light up the whole house. The whole room, the dark room, only one light. So that spark of that knowledge, that's all it is necessary for this whole ignorance to be removed. So our first task is, today's subject is all about deeper and deeper contemplation on it. Otherwise, we won't wake up from this thing, we'll be just remaining at the superficial level. So this now is one part. And then one more, Billy, you said there was one in the organization about duality and all that. Oneness, the oneness, where was that? I thought that was really, really powerful. Remember you were no, not this one. The one about the objective of organization to seek the oneness. Is this the one?
Yeah, this is one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, oneness. Yeah. So now we see your duty is to emphasize the one. What do you mean by this? The main objective of Sathya Sai organization is help you recognize the divinity inherent in you. Okay, so the first line is very clear. That means main thing Sathya Sai is, you can do your programs, you can do the activity, you can come for bhajan, you got center, position, all this is okay. But the whole objective is that we need to realize that you are the Atma. The Atma is inside you. So stop living in the physical, mental, intellectual world, because these 3 dimensions will only drag you more and more into the forest. But now why I came into this world is to remind you, do not exist just like this in this 3 dimension, because dogs, cats, and mosquitoes are living here. You are a human being. There is a 4th dimension in you, and that is the Atmic dimension in you. You have to awaken that. That is why I've come to awaken. So I am the alarm clock to wake you up from this slumber. So this is the divinity inherent in you. Okay, fine. Now that you have done that, once you awaken to that from the Atmic consciousness, boom, suddenly you find that Everything you see is one. Everything is oneness. So if I see two, it's wrong. If I see two, it's dual. So I got to see one. I have to see one. So Adi Shankara, the Advaita philosophy, the greatest Advaita philosophy, the one who went round from whole of India, and in such a young age, he conquered everything, and he was walking, wow, amazing. And suddenly a Chandala, the low caste Chandala appeared in front of him, and Shankara said, move. And he said, what do you want me to move? Me or the body? Or me or the spirit? And then only he looked at from his third eye, he realized that the one who has come now is Lord Shiva. Okay, that's a very powerful story, but how come even the highest exponent of oneness, highest exponent of Advaita philosophy, the teacher of teachers, how come you fell into that trap? Wow, this is very powerful, you know. So suddenly when you emphasize and look at it, I'm propounding it, I'm teaching it, I'm experiencing it, then how did I fall there? That means to say the key point here in spirituality is what? Vigilance. See, unless we are vigilant, we'll fall. Even greats have fallen. So it's not a subject to be just understood. It is a subject to be experienced, and continuously we need to experience. And even if it, at that point of experiencing, even if we were to fall for a little while, nothing to worry. The Supreme Lord, the Guru, the teacher, will be able to guide us and bring us out, because there is only a small malfunction. That one can be repaired. So the teacher himself comes and does it, or he pops up a book here, he gives you a point here, suddenly we are understanding the oneness. So this balance is what is very critical. And the component factor to make it all happen is all of us. Because each of us can suddenly one day slip. So others will say, hey, where are you now? Why didn't you come? What's happening to you? Hey, how come you're not committing? How come you're not? So when we ask that question, that means we are now trying to pull that individual back again to experience that oneness. So to emphasize on that one and to experience the one in all you do or speak. So do not give importance to differences of religion, sex, status, or color. Or you see, once you come into that oneness, then there is no more that we are in the ocean. We are no more in the river. It's a very powerful state to be, to be ocean, not in the river. River is because when the river is flowing, once it reaches the ocean, the river no more has identity. So what he's saying now, here when you come here, there's no more differences. We don't really care what center you belong to, or which country you belong to. We are just one. Having the oneness, feeling oneness permeate all your. So now it is from that oneness, that is the feeling of that Atma, that we are one. It is from here we are supposed to act in the world outside. That means when you're working now, we work in such a way that you and the work becomes one. We and the work that we do become. So this is called inspired work. Inspired work don't need recognition, don't need money. We are just inspired to work because it's coming from the Atma. This Atmic kind of work is what that will bring sustainable results. And then when only such people, they say, only has a place in the organization, the rest can withdraw. Means only people who are conscious of this can serve the organization, because these people then can help others also to develop that. So what is he saying? He's saying, hey, this organization is trying to create a new lifestyle, a new kind of being, the being that is Atmic consciousness. This is the whole, what you call the entire essence of what we are trying to do. Now we must see, we are so many years in the organization, so many things what we're doing. How many percent of what he's saying is what we are? We have to match it now. So that matching of what is expectation and who we really are is going to tell us exactly how far are we from you, O Bhagavan? How far am I from you? You told all these things, right? But I feel I'm very far away. Why? I can feel differences, I can feel duality, I can feel this and that. My God, you're given me a definition, you're given me a mirror of the reflection of which I see myself so far. Now, once I know where I am, I now work myself towards achieving that. This whole statement tells me how ignorant I am to reach that. So this is a beautiful, it's his words, the avatar's miraculous words. It's like alarm clock. We have to wake up and experience this. This is what is meant by contemplation. We cannot come out to knowledge without contemplation. So this is what I thought. This is very nice, very, very powerful. But one mistake we are making, Billy, one mistake we are making is, we are not mistake, but anyway, I think something that I thought. See, when we are presenting, like this one slide itself is so deep. And then the other brothers and sisters also mentioned, there are all lot of deep stuff there. So probably what we should do is, next time, we should finish one and exhaust everything about this one before we go to the next slide. So at least we will milk the, it's like milking the information completely before we go to another person's statement, because every one of them can have a dimension, it can have another way of looking at things. Maybe next time we will do that, I think. Anyway, let's not finish this. I suggest that we keep this session and go deeper. Billy, I suggest we repeat some of these things again, and we can go deeper into this. What do you think?
Yes, brother. It's really important to the Sai organization. Very important topic. We have to, over and over again, we have to talk about it.
Yes.
Sai.
Now, I just want to also let you all know that next week, many of us are leaving for Sri Lanka. We won't be here I hope all of you will be able to. Brother Manoj, you want to say something, brother? You'd like to?
Yeah, Sairam, brothers and sisters, since we all will be going around 25th, we are leaving. So, and we'll be back on the 2nd. So I think what I feel is that all of you should, and we will not be having our regular satsang, but maybe you all can watch the live proceeding from Sri Lanka, and maybe you can fulfill your spiritual tonic from there, from varied speakers, and it is a very, very well planned program. It's very, very tight, but it's got every element of spirituality added to it with a lot of fun. You will see the young children, you will see the young adults, you will see the elders. And of course, Brother Billy has spoken about the ease workshop, and there's a core workshop. So those things, the inner proceedings, Brother Billy will paste it later on when each workshop is extracted and given to you. But main proceedings, like we have inspirational talks from Brother Krishnamurti, Arvind Balasubramaniam, Anu from USA. They are very inspirational speakers. At least you will get 3 or 4 good speakers. So it will keep you tuned with our spiritual journey. So you will not miss anything. So we hope that for 2 weeks we will not be there. But at least we will keep you connected with us, and then we'll start our next sessions once we are back. Sorry for this, but Sairam, and I think you will agree with that, Sairam.
Sairam.
So our next session will be on the 10th of October.
2 weeks, we will just take a 2 weeks break, next Tuesday and the following Tuesday, and then come back, because then only we will all come back also after that.
It's not a break. We will continue with your Sri Lanka inspiration. So there's no break.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, and till we meet again in 2 weeks' time, Saira. But
please do tune to the broadcast. So we'll send the link in our group chats.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Saram, good night, everyone.
Sairam.
Thank you so much, Sairam. Good night.
Good night.
Sairam.
Sairam, thank you.
Sairam,
Sairam,
thank you.
Sairam, good night.